Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. According to The Athletic, Manchester United are one of the clubs that can afford Erling Haaland. Borussia Dortmund are demanding 150 million. The Athletic recently said that we cooled our interest in Erling Haaland. It says we are prioritising 2 deals. It says we're looking to get a right winner and a centre-half instead of Erling Haaland. Now, Erling Haaland's agent, Mino Raiola, and Erling Haaland's father, Finch Haaland, flew to England not so long ago for talks with several Premier League clubs. They also held talks with Barcelona and Real Madrid not so long ago. Now, it said we declined to meet Mino Raiola over negotiating a possible deal for Haaland. Haaland said he thinks Barcelona love him. Now, I'd love Manchester United to sign Erling Haaland. Main explanations is because Solskjaer knows the player well. Solskjaer was the one that gave Erling Haaland his debut at just the age of 16 at Molde. Plus, Erling Haaland would assure us goals, and he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. Now, in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference prior to the Brighton game, he played down talks of Man United chasing Haaland. He said Erling Haaland will make his own mind up. Narratives came out a few weeks ago saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer kept calling the player to persuade him to join Manchester United. Earlier on this season, Ole said he was following Erling Haaland's progress and he was keeping in touch with the player. Back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. And Finch Haaland has spoken about his son's career and his prospects, and he's spoken about his son's transfer links to Man United before. If Dortmund fail to qualify for the Champions League, I can assure that Haaland will leave in the summer transfer window. It did say not so long ago that Haaland was demanding £600,000 a week from his next club. But yeah, Solskjaer's spoken a lot about Haaland. He revealed not so long ago how impressed he was with Haaland in training when he was at Molde. But he made an admission saying that he struggled with bad knees at Molde. He does have a £68 million release clause, but it doesn't become active until next year. He's been at Dortmund over a year. He's under contract with them until 2024. Dortmund paid just £17 million for him. But he has been our number one transfer priority. Borussia Dortmund's CEO has said that Dortmund are planning next season with Haaland. Now, let's talk more about Jadon Sancho. So, Jadon Sancho to Manchester United in the summer transfer window is possible. Fabrizio Romano recently explained Jadon Sancho's hold-up to Manchester United. Borussia Dortmund have admitted that they will sell Jadon Sancho for the right price this summer. Borussia Dortmund's CEO reveals that the club will discuss exceptional offers. Now, earlier on this season, he says we was preparing to put a £50 million bid in. Because he said we believe we can get him for a cut price fee. He did say earlier on this season that we dropped our interest in Sancho due to the progress of Mason Greenwood. Sancho's been on our agenda now for like the last 2 years. Borussia Dortmund's CEO said earlier on this season that Sancho, Halland and more Dortmund stars could be sold in the summer to avoid financial crisis. Jadon Sancho, by the way, was recently furious with Dortmund's disallowed goal against Man City in the Champions League. But earlier on this season, Sancho made an admission saying that he has enjoyed a difficult season at Dortmund, but he said he was happy to be back among the goals. Now, last summer, he was our number one priority target. And we came very close to getting Sancho last summer because it said that the personal terms had been agreed, the agent fees had been agreed, and even a contract had been agreed. But we couldn't come to an agreement on an actual fee. That's what the stumbling block was. Dortmund's valuation was 108 million and we was reluctant to meet that valuation. We was only willing to pay so much up front. Dortmund said to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. Fabrizio Romano, he's spoken a lot about the Sancho saga and so too has built Christian Falk. Analysing the vast majority of Sancho's career, he's been very consistent. This is now his 4th season with Borussia Dortmund. Don't forget, Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City. And he's got a contract with Dortmund until 2023. Don't forget, we was willing to offer him that number 7 shirt. But yeah, like I say, we won't sign Halland and Sancho. We'll only get one of them if we sign any of them. Now, should Manchester United keep David De Gea in the summer transfer window or sell him? There's a few Manchester United fans that think it would be a mistake letting him go in the summer transfer window. Now, it recently said David De Gea has made his transfer decision. He's preparing to leave Manchester United. And it says we are set to pay off his huge contract. It says we've set the price for De Gea. It's £50 million. And apparently there's 3 clubs that are chasing him. That's Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid and PSG. De Gea has like 2 years left on his current contract and he's on 375 grand a week. To be honest with you, I think we should sell him in the summer transfer window because I reckon now he's had his years at Manchester United. He's been at the club now, is it 10 years or almost 10 years? He's been with us since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. You know, De Gea's been our number 1 for a long time. He's made over 500 appearances in all competitions. You know, a few years ago he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world. But in the last couple of years he's made calamitous mistakes. So reflecting on that, he has become a liability. He's won everything domestically at the football club. I said there's a good chance that De Gea will go back to Spain. Main explanations is because he was born in Spain, his relatives are from Spain, his girlfriend's from Spain, and he began his footballing career in Spain. And back in 2015, he was very close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine, the deal never materialised. Earlier on today, I give you the news on Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. It says, we have been dealt a big blow in the chase for Ousmane Dembele, because it looks likely that Ousmane Dembele is going to stay at Barcelona. Ronald Koeman hopes Ousmane Dembele will stay, and Barcelona are preparing to offer him a new 3-year contract. Now, the Spanish outlet Sport said not so long ago that we've increased our interest in Ousmane Dembele, and it says we've been monitoring his displays this season. It says we've been talking with his representatives and we are preparing a bid. I think he's valued at around £50 million. Last year we wanted to get Ousmane Dembele on loan with an option to buy. Obviously this didn't materialise. Fabrizio Romano said not so long ago that Ousmane Dembele is set to hold talks with Barcelona over a new contract. Mundo Deportivo said that Liverpool are interested. Ousmane Dembele has been at Barcelona now for quite a few years. Barcelona got him in a deal worth £135 million from Dortmund back in 2017. Barcelona paid £97 million up front. He's got around 15 months left on his current contract. Ousmane Dembele is injury prone, that's my element of concern about him, but I liked Ousmane Dembele when he was at Dortmund, and I also liked him when he was at Rennes. Still young, got a lot of development in him, only the age of 23. I've identified the weaknesses in our squad. I think we need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a defensive midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. Recent reports said that Man United will spend big in the summer transfer window, but Solskjaer wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. This year's summer transfer window is massive for Manchester United and Solskjaer. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic. But yeah, like I say, I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window. I reckon Solskjaer needs around £200 million, maybe more, if he's to get the players he wants to recommend in. The summer transfer window will be his 5th transfer window as permanent Manchester United manager. So far he's enjoyed 4 transfer windows and he's spent almost £300 million. I can assure Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window, and he'll be Man United manager next season. And I said he does deserve another season, because we've said Solskjaer will not be sacked even if we fail to win the Europa League. You know, the Europa League is our only chance of any silverware this season. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager, because Ollie has not yet won a trophy as Man United manager, and we haven't won a trophy since 2017. So if we fail to win the Europa League this season, that'll be exactly 4 years without a trophy. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. Yes, I can assure we're going to finish in the top 4 this season. Got a very good chance of finishing second, but that's not good enough without a trophy. Woodward obviously believes that Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. He released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. And in general, Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ollie, even when we was enduring them really bad periods. And he did say towards the end of last year that he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. But Solskjaer should get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window. Obviously, reflecting on what Woodward said, Obviously, we've got John Murtough. He's our director of football. And the club made the right decision by getting a director of football in, because I did say that's one of the structural changes that we needed. And obviously we've got Darren Fletcher. He's our technical director, and Solskjaer's already had the meeting with the recruitment team to discuss our transfer targets and to discuss our transfer plans in general for the summer. Yes, Solskjaer has agreed a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. A lot of United fans disagree with us giving him this new contract. But he said earlier on this season that talks were set to begin any day on the new deal, because Ollie's now into the final year of his current 3-year contract. I kind of sure he won't see out this new 3-year contract. I think in some aspects he deserves a new contract, in some other aspects he doesn't deserve a new contract. He isn't the long-term manager for Manchester United, but I do think he is our best manager since Ferguson. You know, Ollie has been Manchester United manager now over 2 years. Reflecting now on he's been at the club, he's gained some managerial experience, he's tried a few different elements, you know, he's learnt quite a bit on the job. Before he was with us, he was at Mulder, and before he was at Mulder, he was at Cardiff. Ollie did manage the Man United reserve team for a couple of years, so he did watch some of this team and this grow and develop. You know? But my two biggest concerns about Ollie, like I've said before, he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, and obviously doesn't have that big club arrogance as a manager. And his decision making also concerns me, because in a lot of his games at Manchester United, he's made very, very bad decisions, especially in a lot of the big games this season. There is a lot of Man United fans that are only going to Solskjaer out. Obviously, they've got main explanations why. But there's some Man United fans that are Ollie in that believe he needs more time. You know, Ollie knew when he'd taken over at Manchester United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. The main explanation he's still Manchester United manager is because he's a club legend. I think that's what saved him. Disregarding being a club legend, I can almost assure now he wouldn't have been here, because we have endured very, very bad periods under him where you can turn around and say, yeah, he was lucky not to be sacked. You know, Ollie did endure 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Ferguson's guidance, so we'll always love him. Always. But we've got to credit Solskjaer in quite a lot of aspects, because we have enjoyed good periods under him where we have seen consistency in all of that. You know, before the game against Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final, we went on a 14-game unbeaten run. You know, he's got us to the FA Cup He got us to the FA Cup quarter-final this season. You know, he's got us to the Europa League quarter-final. Got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. Lost 2-0 to City. We're unbeaten away from home in the Premier League in over a year. You know, he did well last season in his first full season. He guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a 3rd place finish. Second highest we've finished since Ferguson. You know, Solskjaer's brought some good players in. Obviously hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in as yet. I like the way he has promoted the youth, and he's also got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in, and we are sitting second in the Premier League, and at one point he got us top of the Premier League. And Solskjaer's beaten some big name managers. You know, he's beaten Mourinho, he's beaten Ancelotti a few times. He's beaten Klopp in the FA Cup. He's beaten Thomas Tuchel, that's when he was PSG manager. He's beaten Julian Nagelsmann. He's beaten Brendan Rodgers a few times. So, there you go. And Guardiola, he's another one he's beaten quite a few times as well. You know, Solskjaer's beaten some big name managers. You know, he's beaten Mourinho, he's beaten Ancelotti a few times. He's beaten Klopp in the FA Cup. He's beaten Mourinho, he's beaten Julian Nagelsmann. He's beaten Brendan Rodgers a few times. So, there you go. And Guardiola, he's another one he's beaten quite a few times as well. if the club eventually decided to sack Solskjaer, it wouldn't really solve a lot, would it? Because not all the blame stems from the manager. There's no one available at the moment anyway to replace him. But in the last 8 years, nothing has changed at Manchester United. Like I've said before, it's just been an ongoing cycle of inconsistency. I think in the last 8 years, we've made mistakes, and that's why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. I think the board's been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've overpaid for players, and in general, the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't got the players that they wanted to recommend in. You know, 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson. That was David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. And we're not even really known as a sacking football club. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, which is 8 years ago now. You know, Ollie's inheriting players from other managerial eras. You know, there's still some players here from the Mourinho era, some players here from the Van Gaal era, but not many. And there's Matter here from the Moyes era, and there's only 2 here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We are going to sell quite a few players in the summer transfer window. Like I said, there's a good chance De Gea's going to go. I think we need to offload Phil Jones. Phil Jones has always been inconsistent, and he's the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. This is Phil Jones' 10th season at Man United, so he's been a long servant. He's been out of injury for over a year. Axel Tuanzebe, should we offload him because he doesn't get in our 11? Eric Bay, will we offload him? Bay's lost his place in the team. Bay's actually out at the moment with COVID. He recently said we want 17 million to let Eric Bay leave for Inter Milan. As far as I'm aware, contract talks are on hold for Bay because he wants assurances over his playing time. Bay's got like 15 months left on his current contract. Said the other week that Bay apologised to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his Man United teammates for his disrespectful behaviour because he said Bay was furious with Solskjaer because he felt disrespected and not wanted by the club. And Bay come out and said he believes we're only offering him a new contract to simply increase his asking price. I'd like him to stay potentially past the summer, Bay, because he's a good centre-half. He's just injury prone, so in that aspect, he is a liability. Check my battery. Romero, I'm also expecting us to offload him. Still a good chance that Paul Pogba, will leave in the summer transfer window. But yeah, there's still a chance he will stay potentially past the summer. If he stays potentially past the summer, there's a good chance he'll leave on a free next year. Because that's when his current contract expires. Unless, Paul Pogba decides to sign a new contract. Now, narratives have been coming out recently saying that Paul Pogba could be set to sign a new contract at Man United because Juventus have told... Pins and needles in my foot. Juventus have told Mini Oriola that they cannot afford Paul Pogba. So it did say that Paul Pogba will not be making a return to Juventus. Juventus have been keen on a Paul Pogba swap deal. It recently said they was willing to offer us Paulo Dybala as part of a swap deal for Paul Pogba, and Fabrizio Romano did say that Juventus are refusing to give up on re-signing Pogba. I said there's a good chance he'll go back to Juventus because he did enjoy 4 good years with them before he rejoined Man United. Damasio came out not so long ago and said that Paul Pogba's got no intentions of extending his contract. and he said his preferred destination Juventus, and it said Paul Pogba still wants to quit Manchester United. Pogba has been linked to a move to Real Madrid and PSG before, so he's had a long-running transfer saga. But Ollie said earlier on this season he's hopeful that Paul Pogba will stay and sign a new contract, and we had been in negotiations with Paul Pogba over a new contract. Yes, it was earlier on this season we triggered that one-year extension on his contract. But in recent months, we've been getting the best out of Paul Pogba, haven't we? Pogba was out with a thigh injury for a long time. He had an ankle injury at the first part of this season. He was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So, yeah, sustained a few injuries now at Man United. He's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. And this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. And we know Mini Oriola's agent has been desperate to get his client out of the club. Nemanja Matic, I think there's a good chance we'll offload him because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders. I think we need to offload Donny van der Beek. Main explanation is because he's not getting enough opportunities at Manchester United, but that is the only reason. If he was getting his chances, I'd definitely say keep him potentially past the summer. Juan Mata, I think he'll go. Looks like Cavani's leaving as well because he's willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. He's reached a verbal agreement with Boca Juniors. And a lot of United fans are saying that we need to sell Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial's out with injury at the moment. He's going to be out for the rest of the season, according to Ollie. He sustained an injury whilst he was on international duty with France. Rashford's been injured recently as well. So there you go. Big game tomorrow for Man United, playing Granada in the Europa League quarter-final. I think this is going to be the first time we'll be ever playing Granada. You know, Granada are sitting, 9th in La Liga. Their current manager is Diego Martinez. Granada recently lost 3-0 to Villarreal. Granada progressed to the Europa League quarter-final by beating Napoli and Mulder. Mulder is Solskjaer's former club. So Solskjaer does know that this is going to be a tough test. I know some of their players, Granada have obviously got Soldado. He's a former Tottenham player, so he's had experience of playing in the Premier League. He'll be in contention to play tomorrow. Soldado is their joint top goal scorer. They've got George Molina, He's also their joint top goal scorer and he's one of their key players. They've got Luis Suarez, he's one of their key players. He's actually out with injury at the moment. They've got that Yangel Herrera. Charis, he's out with injury. Soro's out with injury. Miller's out with injury. Lozano's out with injury. Pepe Sanchez is not available. But Man United are the favourites to get past Granada. We progressed to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, by beating Sociedad in the round of 32, and we beat AC Milan in the round of 16. We got to the semi-finals of the Europa League last season. We lost 2-1 to Sevilla, and we won it back in 2017 under Mourinho because we beat Ajax in the final 2-0. We've got a massive game at the weekend against Tottenham in the Premier League. But yeah, we're coming into the game against Granada on the back of a 2-1 win against Brighton. Weren't weren't the best of performances by Man United, especially in the first half, but we still got the win. You know, obviously the goals, Becky scored Brighton's, and our goals were from Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood. So anyway guys, that's everything to update for today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.